Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 795 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles. I'm back from JD's home state, the state of Iowa, back from Coralville. I'm joined today by James Dean Rader, who's got a wolf shirt on, it looks like. Wow. Howling at the Moon, and we got Ben Funky Askren, he looks like some sort of a woodland creature in that picture on his
woodland. He looks like a lion with that mane.
Yeah, a jungle cat.
Jungle cat.
Jungle cat Ben, soapbox Ben. We were on a social media soapbox before we had to start the show, and it all kind of connects the whole conversation. But wanted to start today. First off, great weekend in Coralville. A lot of awesome wrestling, but a dominator of the conversation was the attendance at World Team Trials, it being quite low, which was obvious to people there and people watching online that there was not a lot of attendance, and I think there's a lot of well, I would say myopia. I think there's a little bit of
that's a big word.
I think there's a lot of people that are not that. A lot of people with opinions on freestyle attendance that actually don't go to freestyle events, which I was there in Madison in 2014 and 2015, where the entire half of the bowl wasn't even used. So they just moved all the people to one half. And I think a few very small, a small number of freestyle events are being used as like, oh, this was the norm before this situation, the Final X or whatever was happening. I mean, I was there at State College for Final X where David Taylor was the headliner to make his first world team, and it was about half attended. So the bottom line is freestyle wrestling, unfortunately, is not a draw on the level or even half of college. That's just the reality. And
not half. There's been a couple that have been well attended though. You're right. It's not the norm, but
that's what I'm saying. I mean, even think about this, Ben. I'm naming USA wrestling events. I'm thinking about the great events, great wrestling. I mean, everyone points to the 2017 World Team Trials, which were, that was Burroughs'
day. A lot of empty stands in 2017,
and even still there were. But it was, I would say, it was a well attended event. But that had
it was like 3,000 to 4,000, right?
That had Jaden versus David. That had Dake versus Burroughs. It had Gilman versus Iowa.
Don't forget juniors.
And juniors. Too. Yeah, so an entire additional event was there. So my point is there's not a lot of examples of well-attended events. I remember in 2018, they had World Team Trials in Rochester, Minnesota. It didn't look as bad because it was in a much smaller, not even an arena.
Yeah.
It was basically like a gym. So it's people want college wrestling and freestyle wrestling. Even if you go in a hotbed, if you go to Pennsylvania, if you go to Iowa, it's not even if it's Iowa wrestlers. It's got to be University of Iowa needs to be wrestling. It's not if it's a Penn State wrestler. It's got to be the Penn State wrestling team. Because
for the record, you throw in Spencer Lee, Alex Marinelli, those guys. Even now, there would be a few more people there,
no doubt.
But because it was
Spencer Lee was competing,
it was even surprisingly low, even for a World Team Trials event, for a freestyle event. It was surprisingly low this weekend, but not like That's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll just talk about a few contributing factors because you guys are saying it. I mean, freestyle is not as well attended, but it's not this bad. Number one, Hawkeye Wrestling Club is almost non-existent. I mean, they literally have no wrestlers. Who do they have? Pat Lugo and who?
Cassiope wrestled this weekend too.
Cassiope, okay, it's a college guy, but so I mean, they literally have no wrestlers. That's a big factor. Number two for me would be that. We talked about this a lot, but the star power post college goes down. There's not very many stars, and almost all the stars are sitting out the Final X. I mean, really, every single one of them. None of them were wrestling. That's a huge factor. And then I do think the 3-pronged thing where they go open, trials, Final X. I think that definitely has a factor. I said this at the open. I think there's a way we could do it in 2. That would be more ideal. But and I love the Final X, so I would do away with either event 1 or event 2, and I'd leave Final X. I like that as is.
Yeah, and I think that is that makes sense to me as well. I could see a scenario where, hey, make the open set Final X, make the open the trials, and then it feeds into a Final X. What I would not want to go back to is what we had in 17 and years prior, and at the Olympic trials is. The one guy has to do an entire tournament, and then you have the 2 out of 3. I just think that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that someone would do 3-4 matches and then have to do a 2 out of 3 against someone that's fresh. If you're trying to find out where they really stack up against each other and who's actually better in a realistic format, it's not realistic. And I want to protect the medalists, and I do think they should. I am totally on board. You medal, you sit out. But I just don't think you sit out an entire day while your guy's battling all the way through.
Yeah, sitting out until Final X is a huge advantage, right? Because upsets happen in the tournament. So yeah, I think there's definitely still an advantage to that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to see it go back to that.
We did that. Those events weren't well attended.
Yeah, definitely.
Which one? Sorry, what?
When it was World Team Trials, all the way through, and the guy just sits out to the finals. So
it is really wild to me, though. I do think a lot about how, I mean, Iowa City, right? I think every duel this year was sold out, or damn near every duel. Mm-hmm. And I mean, now the fact that there was no Iowa guys, that's a huge factor, right? For being in Iowa City. But there is something about they're in a college singlet. I get all juiced up about it, and then they're wrestling international, and I don't give a damn. It's I mean, I love wrestling, so I obviously don't. I don't get it, right? Because I'm going to watch it no matter what. But for a lot of people, there's some disconnect there between I like this guy when he's wrestling for my college. I'm going to cheer for him. I'm totally into it. Freestyle season, I'm out.
Yeah, and there is something to be said about if there is a cadence and part of the reason I think Final X is good and exists is having that cadence where you almost have a true USA wrestling freestyle season, I think is good and is how you can build storylines and hopefully star power and then fan interest, which is why I think we'll see good turnouts in Stillwater and good turnouts at Madison Square Garden. I think those will be well.
I would think we could get good turnouts for those, right?
What's that?
I would think we get good turnouts. I would be surprised if we
Final X has been more well attended than World Team Trials in the past.
Yeah.
Yes. Stillwater. Dayton's competing in Stillwater. Mm-hmm. What other Oklahoma State connections?
Jordan Oliver.
Oliver. Is he in state college, not in New York?
He's in Stillwater, yeah.
Okay. I said state college. Oops.
Yeah, it's okay.
I would think there'd be a good turnout in Stillwater. Yeah, also helps. Well, there's nothing in Iowa City, but there's nothing in Stillwater either. So might as well go watch some wrestling.
And I saw a lot of people.
What else are you gonna do? Drive the strip?
I saw a lot of people talking about put it in a location that's easy to get to. Shut up! No, you wouldn't travel there. You still have to buy a flight. You wouldn't buy a flight.
Tell them, JD.
Well, I'm just saying, you wouldn't.
That's real.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You would not, especially with the way flight prices are right now. No, you wouldn't.
In this economy, inflation, what it is? Oh.
That damn Joe
Wrestling
Biden.
fans wouldn't. There's just not enough
Yeah, it's-
wrestling fans that care about freestyle wrestling.
Yeah.
And what it really boils down to
Why?
is
Why don't they though?
I don't know.
Talk
It's
about the
tradition.
point I made earlier about how when the guys in the college singlet, guys are all in. They're psyched. I mean, do you literally think maybe it has something to do with wrestling season in the winter and it sucks and you can't go outside and there's nothing to do, so we get all juiced? I mean, that maybe is a factor, but why is it that people get so psyched? Guys, we're watching college wrestling duels. It doesn't matter if it's if we're comparing to attendance last weekend, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. They just go down the line. Just keep naming names, and they're more well attended than that. Like, what is the deal with the people so psyched about college wrestling and the team? Is it maybe that it's only a 2-hour format and that's easy, not a whole weekend? I don't know.
Oh, the
No,
dual
it's-
thing. I do think the dual thing is a factor. I mean, because think about tournaments are not generally like really well attended, right? Obviously,
No.
you can point to NCAAs, of course.
Big Tens.
Big Tens, pretty
Yeah.
well attended. But I've been there. I've been to a couple Big Tens, and they're not all like Minnesota. That was a rock show, and so was Rutgers. But like
Rutgers was good.
Michigan State,
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, to your point, like they say, the CKLV is terrible.
no one goes to that. Even
No one.
at that back when I mean, even think the last one. This is a tournament that routinely has over 100 ranked wrestlers in it. It's
Yeah.
and Vegas is not the easiest place to get to, but it's a pretty major hub.
There's a lot of things to do once you get there. So that would entice people to
Even
the
Midlands.
earlier
I've been to
point.
Midlands. It's like even
Midlands is pretty well attended usually. The
Yeah.
couple that I've been to.
clear out all those wrestlers that are competing in the
Not
stands.
Midlands. Midlands, I feel like has the couple
it's
years I
decent.
went were really good attendance. And then Scuffle seems I haven't been to Scuffle in a long time. Scuffle seems to be well attended. I don't know, it's because they don't get any wrestling events in the southeast, so they all go to it or something. I'm not sure.
No, it's like a stretch drive for Penn State fans, and when they're there, it could be pretty decently attended. But compared to
Yeah.
a dual meet, and I think the 2-hour dual meet thing it's just it's much more.
So you're saying we should have a dual meet national championship?
I would love that. I would love it. Yeah.
Oh wait, I thought you were team. Oh, you want both? 'Cause
No,
I thought
no,
you
no.
were team tournaments
Listen,
better.
The argument that happens is that this is the better measure of team, and it's obviously not the better measure of team, but it is a better
Wrong.
product.
Depends on how you define better measurement of team. But we don't have to get into that. Right now.
There's
We-
only
we-
one way.
We've been through that.
Wrong.
And
wrong.
I'll say
Don't let-
I'll make this point and get out quick.
You just need to say no. You just need to say my opinion, and I'll say my opinion, then we can leave it at that.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're gonna have to fight on air right now.
We have to fight on air. I may have to come to Wisconsin and battle you and Ozzy, who is calling
Audie's
me out
ready to
routinely.
fight you. He called you out.
I know he did. So what I would say is the main reason it's not the better measure of team.
No, stop.
Is-
Stop. Just say it's your
is
opinion.
No, we don't need to get into this. Yes.
Okay.
If you do the tournament, one team will pump out more if you do the duel like it. There's more variance. Better measurement of team, we get it. Okay. Back to attendance here. It boils down to tradition. Like old wrestling coaches, they have just always watched, they care about their high school and then their local college because that's when they care about wrestling from October
That's true.
through March, and that's what they do. And then they move on to track, baseball, whatever, and then football in the fall. And you only have so much time. They don't care about wrestling outside of there because they never have, and so they don't. And so then they coach these kids, and then these kids just, they don't have a coach that's like, hey, guess what? Go watch wrestling this weekend in April or May or June, or go watch the World Championships in the fall. And the kids, they're playing football in the fall or whatever, and they don't even know or care. Or maybe they say, oh, cool, Jordan Burroughs won a world medal. That's cool. Okay, maybe I'll go watch on YouTube if I can afterwards. It's just not ingrained like it is in us. To the casual person who just cares about wrestling, when they wrestle, October through February, March, whatever,
I
and
would
then
say
they're on.
like
They move on to the other
December,
sports.
December through March, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not lament on that any longer. Let's hope the next tour really well.
So
attended.
if you
Can
want, we can do at FloWrestling can do as much as we want, market as much as we want. get as many world medals, pump out as many stars at USA Wrestling, whatever. What it really boils down to is more youth coaches, more participation, and those youth and high school coaches implementing in those kids, go watch freestyle wrestling. They start watching freestyle wrestling and encouraging youth and high school kids to watch freestyle wrestling. That's ultimately the biggest factor, and that's what's going to add the most fans.
JD believes the children are the future.
That's right.
Hey, can we let's talk about this? You guys brought it up and then I Googled it.
Wow.
This Tom Brand's quote
brave
is
of you.
ridiculous. That he knows for a fact. I would love to see the receipts that opposing teams are paying haters to stir the pot. Listen, I would probably, if Tom Brand's made a list of pot stirrers, I might near the top of that list. I don't get paid to stir the pot on Iowa. Unfortunately, if someone wants to send a check, I'll give you my address. But who's getting paid?
I don't know. I can't understand that. I have no idea.
I would accept checks as well.
Actually,
you would
did you know
not.
that
Don't
Flow
say
Wrestling is a subsidiary of a large Penn State wrestling booster?
What? He's not talking about us, Ben. What are you talking about?
Flow Wrestling is a subsidiary of a large Penn State wrestling booster.
Yeah, not exactly. He's not talking about Flow Wrestling, Ben.
I know, I'm Joe. It was a joke.
Okay.
It was a joke. Sorry.
Believe
Now
me,
who's
this is
autistic?
what? Yeah. Okay. Are we gonna talk about that or others things?
I don't know. Do you want to talk about that? It's kind of funny.
Well, what's the say?
found it
I mean,
hilarious.
I don't think it's the case at all, and the implication is that Penn State is doing it. That just doesn't make sense to me. That Penn State is dedicating resources to.
It's kind of funny though.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know how that would manifest itself. What an idiot on Twitter says stupid things. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's much of an economy for that.
You don't need to pay someone to do that. They'll just do it for free.
Yeah,
A little bit of attention.
that sounds like a waste of money.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's more to it than he's actually saying, because it's not getting specific at all. It's not specific, so I don't know what he is actually implying there. Which is why I don't really have much to add to it, because it just doesn't make sense to me as is.
Well, I guess let's talk about the trials then.
Let us do that.
The actual wrestling that happened this weekend?
The actual wrestling.
Mhm.
57, there's not really much to say. I mean, it was Vito and everyone else, and that's exactly what it looked like. No one in his strata at this weight, because you didn't have, no Nick Suriano. Spencer Lee's injured. Patrick Glory didn't come. Gilman's already sitting in Final X. No NATO. So it was, Jacob Camacho, good on him making the trials finals, but that just kind of tells you everything. He's a relatively inexperienced freestyle wrestler who he's getting better. I think he's got a bright future, but Vito's just he's a world level guy, and he kind of showed it.
Yeah, I agree. Not a lot to say here.
Do we think that him versus Gilman could be different?
A part of me says it could be competitive, but then part of me says Gilman has looked really, really good recently, and Vito just lost to Glory in the national semifinals. So I kind of feel both ways about it. I would probably lean towards Gilman's gonna beat him up a little bit.
So the case for Gilman is kind of obvious. He was not wrestling. He jumped a level or something. He got, after trials, his wrestling seemed to take another step forward, right? And he beat Vito at the trials. But, Vito was able to jump on him early. He's going to have to be able to sustain 6 minutes with this guy on 2 occasions, which I think is a really big ask. But I think Gilman's got the style, or Vito does have it.
How far after weigh-ins is it?
Well, not too far. I'm pretty sure.
Final X?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they have
start,
the.
right?
I should have the Final X, like what do you call those? Charts up. What you guys know what I'm talking about? They made the graphic where they show all the matches.
The charts, yeah. So
Arts,
he'll
whatever you
be
call
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th match in Final X Stillwater. So 8 matches. So you're probably 3.5, 4 hours recovery time.
Yeah, solid. And then obviously then there's a kind of a large gap between the next session. So he should be feeling all the way back by the second match. And I mean, I think that's so obviously we saw the difference between Vito at the Glory Duel and Vito at Conference. And I think part of it was strategic and part of it was how he felt being not off the scale. So I think that's really relevant.
So that one will go down at Final X Stillwater. Be a very exciting 2 out of 3. 61 was a fun wild weight. I mean, the Mendez Gross match, probably the best match of the tournament, and came to a couple key exchanges in this one. One, the 4 on the edge for Mendez.
We can watch these, right?
Yeah, we can watch them. If I don't know if Tyler has the. Well, I know the stream did not pick up the Seth 4 unless we got another angle.
I watched it.
Really?
It cuts out at the end, but you can see Mendez's feet flying through the air and Gross's foot still on the ground.
Yeah, I didn't understand how they arrived at the conclusion for 4 for.
You want me to find what? How can I'll find this real quick. So this first sequence, I definitely think it is for 4 points for Seth Gross. Initially, it looks as though Gross's foot steps all the way out, but when you rewatch it, he has like two inches of his foot that are still in bounds. And one of the easy ways that I just you can watch this slow is like whose feet are still on the ground. That's really relevant to who's doing the move. And so Mendez has in the air, but he puts him back down, and Gross's feet are on the ground. And Mendez, like he bombs him. So I think it's obvious, very obvious.
But
4 points.
Mendez put him out of bounds. Once he put him out of bounds, Gross can no longer score.
Watch it.
If your foot's in, you're not out of bounds.
If one foot is out, you're out.
His foot
you need both feet out. Or no. Watch this. Okay, hold on. It's at 40. Just started at 48 seconds. So 2 minutes and 44 seconds into the video. Tyler. So 2 minutes 44 seconds into the video. So can we make this a larger screen?
It's a different video, Ben.
It's right here.
I'm sorry. I was so focused on
here.
The
we're on it.
Yeah. So if you watch it though, Gross's foot is still in bounds, and that's the first one that hits right there. And you can really clearly see it, and you can see Gross's foot on the ground, and Mendez's feet are all the way up in the air. So if I have Mendez all the way up in the air, and my foot is down, how am I out?
Yeah, you're not. So foot down.
There.
Oh, but what about his
right foot is completely out?
Yeah, his right foot's completely out though, Ben.
It's right here in the picture.
So you would say, here's what I would say to that. I would say, once he lands, he's starting the motion of the throw off of his front foot.
Mm-hmm.
No, once you take somebody out of bounds, that person can no longer score.
Yeah.
Well, then it should be 1 point Mendez, because I wish I could show you what I have on my screen right now, where I froze it exactly at 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Tyler, can you freeze it at 2 minutes and 48 seconds?
See,
just right before just a little blip before 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Freeze it there, and you guys will see what I'm talking about here. 3, right, 2. Freeze right there, like this. Okay, and even can we go like a half a second more?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So Gross's feet are on the ground, and he's lifting Mendez off the ground. Mendez is not causing Gross to go.
No, he jumped to try and get 4.
He failed at that.
Yes, correct. But he successfully took him out of bounds.
Yeah, but he got 4 points for this, JD.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Okay.
That's not okay.
But it should not be Gross's points.
Okay, so I'll say one for Mendez or 4 for Gross are the two calls you can make. 4 for Mendez is unacceptable.
They also, I don't remember in what match they went, but they went 2 for proper throw and freestyle, which it had been. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
J.O. Zane 2017.
No, it was a final. What was it? It was Was it Noel from LaValle or?
Yeah, I think it was.
I
They
think
gave
it was Noel
LaValle
from
too.
Valley got a correct throw.
Yeah, LaValle got, and
Yeah.
it did. I can't remember last time I
Yeah.
saw that.
So the way I thought about this and why I said 4 is obviously once you start a motion, then you're able to continue the motion even if you step out of bounds. So what I'm thinking is when Mendez sets Gross down, his foot is in bounds, and at that point he is now starting his throw so he can continue his throw. That's how I'm thinking about it. That's why I'd be 4. But yeah, I mean, as we watch that video, there's no way Mendez should get 4 off that. It's atrocious.
Yeah. So then you think, all right, Seth is in trouble here. He got that to be
He
down.
was in trouble. He was in a lot of trouble.
He got to be down 9. He was struggling stopping some of Jesse's attack from space. He was able to blow through him, avoid a lot of the scrambling positions. And then Jesse gets to 1 point from the tech. He's on top, and he runs his feet, tries to get the gut that would end it, and he ends up giving up the 2, and we could probably get to that moment here. And he proceeds to just get turned and turned and turned from basically
so many turns,
so much time, so many turns. It basically, it ate up a ton of time. He gave up, I don't know, probably 8 or so points.
I think it was 8 points.
Just in
he
the
was down
turnover.
9 and gave up a reversal for 2, right?
Right.
Or I guess I gave a reversal for 1.
Yeah, and then he ends up
12-3.
giving up the 2, and basically could not get his wrist back for anything. And it was interesting because it's not like Seth, if you go back like 5 seconds, it's not like Seth wound up with the wrist out of the exchange. He just
I think
he just chopped to it. If you go back a little more.
I think Mendez relaxed on that reversal, and you can't relax.
Not against Seth, because he just chops and sort of collects it.
He was holding the hand and had his arm bent. That's what allowed Seth to trap it up.
Yeah, gotta get hands forward. So yeah, that ends up losing the match essentially for Mendez, who looked good and would have been curious to see him go on a run. But just and that's what for Jesse, you take his Open and his World Team Trials, and it seems like an experience gap, and just getting more of that mat time and senior level reps, and you can learn from it because he was up on DeShazer and then kind of gave up a couple takedowns, and then here he was in position to win, and Gross took it from him because he's savving really good on top, and so Gross then navigates his way to the final. He pins Nico, avenging that loss, and then takes out DeShazer.
Yeah, that was man. I don't know what happened. I would say I was shocked on the last. What happened last time with the Nico match in Vegas? Just how Nico controlled it and kind of dominated a little bit. And man, this one I felt like Gross just dominated. Like I didn't feel like it was all that competitive even.
Yeah, it was like Gross took the last match, made a couple changes, and it just did not. And that's one thing. That's an area where Gross maybe doesn't get enough credit, and it's why I'm at least not next topicking the Gross Dayton series. I'd be very surprised if anyone but Dayton won. But I don't think it's gonna look like the trials in 2 straight matches of just getting teched. I think he's gonna make some adjustments. I think that's where Seth is underrated, is how heady he is, the adjustments he can make, how tactical he can be. And I think the Nico match really sort of exemplifies that for Seth.
Yeah, I mean, that's the factor is that Dayton's gonna be so hard for Seth to take down because they're just not. I don't know if Seth has the right tools in his toolbox in order to do it.
That's the thing. When you try to craft a game plan to beat Dayton in freestyle, and you're Seth Gross, it's like, what does that look like?
Don't get taken down.
I
mean, maybe watch that Magomedov match and try to steal something from that. Maybe, I guess.
And that was a close match, and Magomedov is
elite.
So elite, not just world champ elite. He's like pound for pound elite. And he takes care of a Loper in 2 straight. Daniel DeShazer, who
the second one was competitive.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and they gave Gross a quasi point that allowed him to win.
A what?
Which one was it? I think
the caution in 1. There was no reason for that caution in 1 that they gave him.
Yeah. I know. I was upset. after the caution one, these mugs just kept grabbing fingers the whole time. It's like, well, if you're gonna call a penalty, then call more penalties. You didn't stop nothing.
Exactly.
Oh, it was like, was it like?
I can't even remember if they verbally warned him.
Beginning of the second period. It's the beginning of the second period. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. Just play from here.
No. It's after this.
What?
Yeah,
no, I remember it was like. The one I'm thinking of was like 5 seconds into a.
It was a restart.
But the ref tried to caution him at the end of the first period, and no one agreed with them. And so I think the ref told the other refs
The
at
7:30
break,
mark,
like,
Tyler.
Okay,
watch this or something, Yeah, but DeShaters does wrestle with his hand open, like almost the entirety of the match, but his right hand's almost always open, which makes the finger grabbing happen a lot. And yeah, obviously Seth does the same thing.
Wow, that's audacious.
Well, he tried. Why he does try to call it
criteria.
at the end of the first period, but yeah. But then they do it for the next 2 minutes. Like, I mean, they spend so much time in that position with their right hands.
Like
right
it literally just happened again.
And it continues to happen as the match goes on a whole bunch, and they never call it again, which is right there. It's again.
To get your fingers interlocked, it is scientifically impossible for the other person to not also have their hands open as well. Like if you're like this or like that, then it's just really tough to give away a point. You have to be so
Unless
sure.
like one guy is like clearly like shaking, trying to shake it off, and the other guy is like gripping.
But I could
how do you know he's not
I
faking?
could grab your hand and just start shaking.
I know, but if one guy's open like this, like pointing, and like I'm trying to escape here.
Yeah, I mean, they're both they're hand in hand here. I don't know.
And especially once you've got
that made a difference.
They're still doing it right there the whole time.
Then he concussed it. That was so dirty.
What?
But like,
it was so obviously
that
intentional.
was so dirty. Stop.
JD.
No, he started that double with more than 1 second on the clock.
No. It's not about the time on the clock.
Him.
You cannot headbutt people in wrestling.
What's Gross supposed to? He's done a 4-point. What do you mean?
Listen, you know exactly what that was.
JD, stop.
If Jordan Burroughs does that, you don't say anything because he's just wrestling through the whistle.
He wouldn't do
Jordan
that.
Burroughs loves headbutting people in that position. It's a highly effective tactic, but in that situation with 1 second, it's definitely dirty.
Yeah, everyone knows what it is. And also track record. This man does open hand slap multiple wrestlers. Listen, I'm here for DeShazer.
Double standard. That's all I'm saying.
Double standard. No double standard. Let me know when Jordan Burroughs open hand slaps multiple people in a match.
I mean, Jordan Burroughs likes a little bit of dirty fighting. I think he fought. I think he likes to fight Franklin Gomez.
Yes, he does not like Gomez.
Oh yeah, they were fighting each other.
He does not like him. Jordan is a little. It's not as overt. It could be just as effective and just as. But it's like it's almost a club.
And he's a lot better
dirty.
than a lot of people, so he doesn't. He's not always like in these wars where the Shazers lots of times. It's like back and forth, and he's losing. He gets all pissy,
it's
and
literally
Burroughs doesn't lose very
impossible
much.
for the Shazer to put his head through Gross's chest when he's in a 4-point on his knees and his head like this.
Then I would maybe not shoot a double leg. I would use a different tactic probably.
Why?
Because
he wanted to run through him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was screwed by the officials.
JD.
So he had to shoot that double.
JD. All right. So that was
especially
61.
Sorry, last point, Christian. When once Shazer gets called for that caution one, it only makes sense for Gross to just continue to try grabbing him, right? Because he hasn't been warned. So like, just keep freaking grabbing the hand and hope he gets called again.
Right. Okay. We saw Yanni. I mean, 65 was interesting in the matches that didn't happen more than anything. Like Joey McKenna losing to Ian Parker in shocking fashion. He was up 5-0.
Shocking.
And there's no other way to characterize it than Joey seemed to just break there. In a way,
hard.
Just gassed hard. And I wonder if it was cut related or something.
What else would it be? He freaking killed him the next day.
I think it had to be because he looked fine. Nothing really happened. And I'm not trying to discredit Ian, but I didn't feel like he was doing something like, he made these major adjustments. It just seemed like McKenna just fell off a cliff.
That was it. McKenna fell off a cliff Yeah, and obviously, I mean, you don't really have to make any assumptions because the following day it went 10-0 in 2 minutes or something to that effect,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any assumptions to be made there. Evan Henderson to me was the story of the tournament. I would have lost a lot of money if you bet me on Evan Henderson making the finals.
Hey,
Wouldn't have saw that one
Tyler,
coming.
we can pull some receipts from last week's when I said y'all weren't giving Hendo enough respect.
Oh no.
JD must. How did JD remember everything he said, and then he goes and finds it and puts
Oh,
it
is
on
this the receipt
for all
time?
his good takes.
This is receipts. Okay.
I scrubbed the audio. No
But
triumph.
you can go back and listen to Thursday's episode when you said.
Oh wait, we've got it.
Yep.
I got Kendrick Maple versus Yanni, and they're gonna wrestle final X.
Is anybody giving Hendo a chance over Maple? Because I think Hendo could beat Kendrick Maple.
I give him a puncher's chance, but I'm
giving a lot more than a puncher's chance.
okay.
No, I
it's-
think Maple's wise to those tricks.
Also, yeah, I feel like he's like too big, strong to he'll just shut down some of that stuff. But also, you mustn't look past Patricio Lugo from the Hawkeye Wrestling Club.
That was a tough match for Kendrick Maple.
And also, he could beat Henderson, preventing that match.
Put some respect on Hendo's name,
I stand
please.
by. Although, hold on, you didn't go so far as to say it or predict it. This is you just mentioned it, and are we giving it? Are we overlooking? You just asked a question.
I said Hendo could be Maple.
No, that just shows you walked to the edge and you looked over
I
and
said
said,
Hendo
"I'm
could
too
beat
scared
Maple."
to jump." You couldn't. You didn't go there. If you had went there, I'd give you credit. You just suggested. You asked. You kind of. I said he had a puncher's chance. I at least said it. You're just out here inquiring.
I said Evan Henderson could beat Kendrick Maple, and I said I'm giving him a lot more than a puncher's chance.
You did say that. You did say that. More than puncher's chance.
That match, man. Maple Maple had a really bad weekend, so he'll probably happily go back into retirement. Maybe he wanted to coach, and so he knew hey, if I win this, I can wrestle at Worlds and Final X. I'm done here. Just gonna mail this one in, so I'm done wrestling. I'm gonna say that's what happened.
And so then Nick Lee and Henderson, you think, okay, this will be Nick Lee, right? Wrong. And he was up big and
wait, I got a point on this one, Christian.
Make a point, please.
I don't know if Hendo held him on his back in that one exchange. So he guts him, right? And then Hendo kind of has a weird position, and then somehow Nick Lee rolls through to a double armbar little kid position.
Crucifix,
Crucifix, and I don't know if Henderson held him on his back there because it was he's bridging through, and he keeps going through, and then he goes all the way to the crucifix.
We pull that in.
I'm did he really hold him for the 2 points? Because if he doesn't hold him for the 2 points, it's 10-0 and the match is over. Can we watch that?
Should be able to. Henderson, Nick Lee.
I feel I'm not outraged at the call. I don't think it's terrible, but when I was watching it, I'm like, dang, I don't know if you really held him there. That might be 10-0.
So it happens. He gets that. Fireman's. All right, so go to 2 minutes. Or 2 minutes left in the first period. So 1:19 is the time.
Remember, if you're just listening, you can also watch if you listen on Spotify.
Yeah, you should watch this.
Sorry.
Yeah, so watch it. Yeah, here it is.
So here's 8-0, and then see that's not a very long hold, guys. Go back. That was a 1 second hold right there.
Well,
maybe not even. I don't even know that he fully stopped Nick Lee's motion on his back. Because right there, he's not on his back.
Yeah. Man,
you know
I didn't
what I'm
even
saying?
think about that at the time. I remember just as I watched it live thinking that's 2 for Henderson and then 2 right back. And you don't even honestly when these moments are happening in my mind it's this match is just going to be over pretty soon anyways. I'm just not even thinking. I just expected Nick Lee to just go ahead and win here.
One more time for me, Tyler.
So I think, and you can pause real quick, go a little before that, but I think lots of times a ref they're trying to think ahead, which is kind of positive. But what is going to happen based on what I'm seeing right now? And they were assuming that Nick Lee was going to get held on his back, and I don't know that he really did. Can we run it a little more, Tyler?
He kind of sits up into him.
He sits up, and you're assuming that he's going to hold him, but then he doesn't. And so, like, when I think of a defensive man, and you can think about this, when they go to roll through it for a headlock or a gut wrench or whatever, it doesn't really matter how slow you go through. If the defensive guy doesn't stop you, they generally don't give 2 points. If the action continues to go, right? If I keep rolling, there's usually not a 2-point given. And so that was questionable. But then, man, it's 10-2 against Nick Lee, and Evan Henderson just wrestled his way back all the way into it and wins at the end. That was really, really impressive.
And I was surprised when he got on top for the reversal after like the double armbar crucifix situation. He was able to get the lace, which surprised me. And then the weirdest moment, and the moment I felt like, man, Nick Lee's probably gonna look back on that moment and be like, this was the error.
Yeah.
He gives up a 2, which kind of a easy little go behind 2, but then he kind of sits to the corner and tries a really bad crotch lift. And
it was really bad.
Ends up exposing. That was at, if you have the full match up, that was at like.
He went right to his back on it.
Yeah,
Flat.
410 into the match file.
Yeah, that was a bad sequence for Nick Lee because it was I believe it was he went for elbow pass and Henderson did a slide by, and then he tries to scramble back into him and gets flopped right on his back.
The counter from Henderson was really nice. Yeah, I give credit to that one. But man, the crotch lift I feel like is a big.
Was he on crotch or was it around the body?
Well, yeah, I can't
tell.
Tell. Maybe he was just trying.
He's probably trying to.
Not a good idea.
Gosh, but just got body.
But even still, he's got the lead, and then gives up a step out. I mean, it was a great match. It might have been better than the.
That was a good match.
Lee Mendez match. So Henderson makes it to, gets that win and punches his ticket to Final X, which other than the Oracle JD, none of us really saw that coming. we said it's Yanni, it's Joey, it's Nick Lee, maybe Maple. I'm actually not super surprised about Maple's tournament.
How about Yanni with the gut wrenches? What's up with that?
Yanni with the good guts. And he had these before. I'm trying to think of the last.
I don't know. He needs to hit it on somebody better than Ian Parker and Luke Pletcher for me to completely freak out about his guts.
It was something. So I hear that. That's fair. But something about how they looked just made me feel like they're going to be a difference maker for him against good guys. Now he's going to have to get on top.
I think it wasn't that it was. I think for me, it was that it wasn't like a trap arm or something where he gets sneaky and catches him a bunch of times. It was there was a bunch of resetting and then just going and resetting and going. And the guy knew it was coming and there's just nothing they could do to stop it.
Yes, that's what it was for me. And the directional change, him gutting both ways.
Yes.
Some guys, it's they get their hands locked, exactly which way. They only gut basically one way. But he goes low, left, right, right, left. It just looked like it's going to be a real difference maker for him. And he'll take on his old training partner, Evan Henderson, which is, something that he would have predicted. Now, Henderson now trains at the Ohio Regional Training Center in Columbus, and obviously, wrestling.
He works for Rudis too. He's in the media department.
Yes, he is.
Yanni will be a huge favorite, but it's worth noting that they were training partners for a long time. There's some familiarity there. I think that helps Henderson more than never feeling Yanni before.
That's true.
But it probably helps the other way too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yanni's a funky guy, though, where I feel like, I don't know, I've never wrestled Yanni, obviously, but
it's not too late.
That's true.
I feel like Henderson has the same thing, where he's got he's got a lot of tricky things going on, and his body kind of moves in a unique way. So I feel like that goes both ways.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Hey, how about your boy? I can't believe you haven't bragged on this yet, Piles. Your boy Bo Bartlett got a win over Kolodzik.
Listen,
he blew it against Parker.
He about had Parker.
Ian Parker went Brett Metcalf on him.
He was up 5-0. Ian Parker, he's good in the second period. It turns out he did good, dude. He was competitive with Maple. He lost like 8-6 to Maple.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Bo Bartlett can freestyle. Please sell all your stock because I will acquire it and cash it in.
Bro,
at a later
you've been
date.
buying stock for years on
And
Bo
I
Bartlett.
still am.
I don't know if you're
Okay.
gonna cash it
Well,
in.
you bought it very high.
Listen,
You bought you bought it very high, and we're like
I do not
Bitcoin
buy
right
it
now.
high.
So you're just
You're
dollar
buying
cost
dips,
averaging in at all
for
points.
sure, but
it's no different than crypto Twitter, who says basically everything that happens is good, and it's the reason to to
No,
celebrate.
crypto Twitter's kind of dead now. I mean, compared to last year when I look at hashtag Bitcoin, it's like, oh man, it's crickets right now. Freaking crickets.
Cricket coin. So yeah, I think, I think a lot of reasons to be excited about Bo Bartlett.
Stop.
Laugh all you want.
You've been
Cackling
saying
din.
that for 4 years, though.
No, that is just such a lie, Ben. That is just audacious. It goes back.
Audacious. This is his third year in college, Christian.
He's had 2 years in college. This will be his third. And his first at his natural weight class.
Okay.
probably.
All right.
Probably. So we'll see.
Yeah, because someone was saying it was hard for him to make 143. So then
41's
141.
easier. Because he doesn't have to worry about the kilograms. No one likes kilograms.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. Kilograms are harder to make than pounds.
I feel like
everyone
you know
knows
what?
this.
You know what's something I feel like this program does for me, Christian, that's really negative.
Oh no.
So while I was walking around Las Vegas at the US Open, and I saw, whoa, why am I double screen right now? This is weird. I'm looking at Zoom.
It's
Okay,
not like that
was
on the. For everyone
That was
else.
weird. I was walking by Mountain I'm like, I bet that dude hates my guts. Because listen, I've been very critical. Listen, I don't got anything against him as a person. I just commented on his wrestling style, which I don't enjoy, and then his lack of ability to perform in NCAAs, which was true. So I made a value judgment on how much I enjoy his wrestling, and I made a comment on his performance in NCAAs. I bet he was like, F that dude. I want to go slap that dude. And now,
Well,
like
that
Bo
would assume he
Bartlett, I'm like,
listens,
I
which
bet that
is
dude
probably
thinks I
not
hate
true.
him. Like, I got nothing against Bo Bartlett. I'm sure he's a wonderful human being. I mean, I don't know him at all, but he's probably like freaking Ben Askren, such a dick face.
Once again, assumes he listens, which is probably not true.
What normally happens?
Well, someone at least sends him the clips.
That's
right?
what
Or his
happens.
dad, or something
people
to
don't
that
even do
effect.
that. People will just say Askren's going off on you, blah blah blah. That's happened to me with FRL, and then a coach will be like, "You said this on FRL." I was like, "Yeah, that's not true." It's just like people just want to text you, coach, and tell you bad things, so they can be like an insider.
Yeah, but so listen, it's part of the game. Obviously, I'm gonna continue to say my opinions, and listen, certain people. Yeah, I'm not a fan of your wrestling style, and I'm gonna tell you the truth of what I feel, and I don't hate you as a person. I'm sure you're wonderful. Well, some of you are probably butt faces, but some of you are probably wonderful.
That's possible. Can't rule
Yeah.
that out. So Yanni Hendo. Then we go to 70, reunited. Zane Rutherford, Jordan Oliver, once again going to face each other. And it was Pantaleo going down to Zane, who's just often been a thorn in his side. And that continued to be the case here. When we saw Pantaleo's draw, we knew it was tough. It'd be a tough path for him. Hey.
How does Sasso beating Pantaleo? I'm sorry. This was normal to me. Zane beats Pantaleo. Sasso beating Pantaleo to me was like, wait, what's going on here?
Well, you know,
Sad
he
matches.
had that hip injury plus sad constellation matches. I think could have played a role.
Sad people are much easier to defeat. Is what
Sad
I've learned.
People are much. I never thought about it that way, but I don't think you're wrong, Christian.
You know who wasn't sad was Joey McKenna because he came back to the backside and whooped up on Ian Parker in the third place match.
Not sad,
Yeah.
Joey. That was good.
Can we watch Jordan Oliver's second period gut wrench? He gets 2 points for, because this is the difference in the match. And who knows? Maybe he doesn't give up the last point, but he definitely did not get that gut wrench.
So and you said this
Did
to
not
me.
expose.
You
He
texted
did not
me.
expose. Bring it up. We can watch it.
I think it's a little closer than you realize, and also
It's close. It's close, but he's not exposed. It's very close. There's no exposure there. Because your camera, the flow camera, I know it was Christian. I know it was you behind the camera, Christian. You had a very good angle on it.
Yes.
Do I need to figure out what time it's at?
Second
It's right
period.
at the end of the second period. So it's like 25 seconds left in the second period. I'll give you an exact.
Yeah.
Damn commercials for this freaking lizards
it
on
is.
my screen right now. Son of a bitch.
There.
All
It's
right.
this.
He's not exposed. He's not exposed.
Hmm.
Does not break 90.
You need like a fisheye view so you can
Fisheye.
actually bust out. You can see the angle because
Telling you guys.
it's hard to
I
tell
see
from the
it.
side like this.
No, it's easy because you can watch where his shoulders
Right.
are. Not at 90, not at 90, 88 degrees, 89. That was it. 89 degrees.
You bust out the protractor?
Well, 89 would be exposed.
I protracted that shit. He didn't break 90.
89 would be exposed, just so you know.
No, 91.
91.
You gotta get past 90. 90, 90,
'Cause this is
90.1
Uh-huh.
until 180. Right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
90
10,
to
89.
Yeah.
You only got to 89.
I failed geology. I always tell you guys I was a bad student. This is why. You're seeing
Not
it live.
exposed. No way exposed. That is crap. Now listen,
Well-
I think Oliver doesn't give up the last point, but I was very perturbed at this call.
What did you think about the shot from Deacon before it that precipitated the go behind for Jordan? We can go back probably 30, 40
So
seconds.
I think I should pull the receipts, JD, because I think I made a very good. We hold on, pause it real quick. I think we made a really good call. I said that Oliver will keep him at bay and not let him get to the legs, because once Deacon gets to the legs, he's really good at pulling them in. And I think Deacon only got to the legs once, and I think he did score.
he
if I
got in
remember
a
right.
couple times.
Yeah. There's the two low singles, and he scored one. He didn't score the other.
So I think he went back to the head outside shot that he scored on, and it seemed like Jordan just had a better read on it. And
Yeah.
I was surprised he wasn't able to recover because Jordan didn't. He circled really far away. He didn't take like a tight angle to the
Yeah,
go
tight
behind. It was a
angle.
wide circle. So I don't know if Deacon really just sold out too hard for the shot or what that was, because it
Yeah,
wasn't some
that's
lightning
strange.
fast reattack.
89 degrees.
89. So he ends up taking him out.
Yeah.
And then Zayn
I don't
versus
know. I'm not
Jordan.
really all that excited about Zayn and Jo. We've just seen it too many times. I don't know who's going to win. It's going to be really close, and I'm not all that excited about it.
I was not feeling good about Jordan Oliver going into the match with Deacon after a close one with Blockus and Deacon just blowing through Sasso. I was kind of like, this looks like it could be Deacon's time, fresh off wrapping up college career, but Jo got it done.
He's savvy, no doubt about it. So Zayn versus Jo again. Jordan Oliver tweeted, let me pull it up. That dude.
You know whose tweets we should talk about? Carter
Hit it.
Starocki. Chaos Anderson's he's gonna have a session with Carter today.
Yeah, the Penn State guys were tweeting up a storm. Nick Lee was basically clowning the events.
No, but didn't you see what Carter Starocki said?
Yeah.
I need to give.
He
After-
said, your time will come,
after it
Chance.
Yeah, after he took an L, though, he was still talking trash. It's like, whoa, bro. Like, at least wait a week. You just lost a chance yesterday. Like, zip it for a minute. And maybe this is great. Maybe this is trolling right here, guys. Or trash talking 101. He's getting some emotions going. Even me, I know maybe he's faking, but it still elicits emotions, which is what you want to do. So Carter, if your future's in MMA, good job on this, because you're making me annoyed, which means you're making other people annoyed, because I know that maybe you're trying to annoy me. But I'm still like, hey, you lost that dude yesterday. Like, how about you just shut up for a week?
There
so,
it is.
So there's the tweet. That's what big balls look like. The rest of the division will be taken care of soon enough. Marsteller, watch your mouth. You know what it is next time. But shake hands till then. So Ben, I don't know if you saw it, but what precipitated that tweet
I
is
saw this. Yeah.
Marsteller's post-match interview where he's like, this guy calls himself daddy. He's like, he's not a dad. He doesn't know what he's talking about there.
I have 2 kids.
So-
I rest.
That was actually hilarious. I mean, that was so. Carter Starocki was coming in as this young kid, calling himself daddy for And, like I said, maybe he's trying to annoy us, or that's obvious. It comes off as super arrogant. Is how it's coming off.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marsteller makes a funny joke about like, hey, I actually got kids, because he does, and so he is actually a daddy. I thought it was funny, and so yeah. But to my point, maybe Carter is trying to do this. Have I ever told you the story of Carter Starocki at the Penn State Ohio State duel? Have I already told the story?
I don't
you
recall.
maybe have. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay,
I don't
so
know if you told that on air.
I went to the greatest duel of all time, Penn State Ohio State 2017
18.
or 2018. In January. I took my high school coach with me, who's my club coach, John Messenrink, and we're sitting there. And Carter Starocki, he was a high school senior, so I don't know if he was on a recruiting trip, or I don't know if he had committed already. But he's sitting next to this girl. He's right behind me, like literally he's right here in my shoulder. The whole duel. This dude is just. He's talking nonsense. All of his facts were wrong. Like, he was like kind of close to a lot of the facts, but he was missing big time. But the girl, she didn't know nothing about wrestling, so she was like, yeah. And the whole time I want to be like, dude, like, shut up, you're wrong. Like,
What do you mean?
like,
I mean, that's kind of vague.
he would
then.
say
What are you
like
talking about?
let's see who transferred that year. The 125 or 133, right? Which one was it? Kuhn?
Carson Kuhn?
Yeah, he would like say like, oh, this guy transferred, and he would say the wrong college or
Yeah.
something like that, right? And it was just like these like little facts the whole time. And I'm autistic, right? So I can't take it when people get facts wrong. I think my oldest daughter might have a little bit of it, because she's like, if I say something that's not 100% correct, she will like get really mad at me about it. I'm like, I know, but I was close, and she's like, no, but it wasn't right.
Oh boy.
That was what was going off my brain the whole night. He was telling this girl like all these facts about what this guy did or what that guy did, and the whole time I'm like, oh my god, dude, you're like, oh, you're just wrong. You just don't know, like. But then the girl didn't know.
You gotta know your audience.
She was happy, And he's a high school kid, so I'm like, I'm not gonna turn around and tell a high school kid to shut up. That would just be totally rude of me. But yeah, the whole night was just like wrong facts the whole night. And it was like he would be close, right? But it was just like wrong.
But to his audience, he's right.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah.
And shout out to Starocci going backside warrior back-to-back world team trials.
Yeah, beat Ringer, which was a match we thought we might see in the final, and it ends up happening for third. Or would that have been a semi? No, it would have been anyway, doesn't matter. A match we thought we'd see on the front side that did not end up materializing there.
I think it would have been a final, Christian.
It'd have been a final.
Yeah. So what we had, Marsteller goes through Starocci first in a match where Starocci went and got the takedown late to put himself in the lead. And then you say, okay, he's probably just going to shut it down here. And Marsteller gets in on the leg late, gets a clutch finish, and that was the match. I mean, it was a really good back and forth bout. And one thing that, if you watch Chance for a lot of years, like we all have, it's, the 6 minutes was not always a thing for him. It was tough. And now he's got...
Meaning his gas tank.
His gas tank was definitely suspect. And now that has been totally rectified seemingly to this point. Now, we'll see what 6 minutes with Jordan, that can take a lot out of a man. But
that's a little different.
It's quite different. But that said, he still showed improvement there. So he beats Starocci here, and then he beats McFadden, who had just beaten him for the
I thought Chance looked really good. I had the same feeling as you in the Starocci match. He got up 3-0. Starocci started coming back, and I thought, oh man, this is this is going downhill for Chance. And then dude, he came out and he got that takedown. It was really impressive. He wrestled his butt off. That was where it was like when Carter puts out this tweet, and again, maybe he's trolling and trying to make us trying to elicit emotions, which is good because that's what he's doing.
Right.
So good job on that, Carter. But it wasn't like Chance got lucky and got like a leg lace and got a whole bunch of points, and then he just couldn't come back on him. It was like, no, you had your chance. You got up 4-3. This dude came back, got gritty on your ass, and got his 2-point takedown with a little bit of time left. That's when you be quiet for a week and you say, damn, he got me. I got to be quiet for a couple weeks.
It was a nice single leg and finish. And Chance has a lot of. He's just such a unique matchup, not just because like his body type is obviously unique. He's very short and squat, but you think for someone that's like a powerhouse fire hydrant type wrestler, he has crazy flexibility in his knee. And I don't know
super
how
combi.
many single legs he just quickly rubber kneed out of that guys got in like no problem. He's,
Yes.
obviously Jordan's a different thing, but he's clearly a top, a top 10, 15 guy in the world. I think I feel
Well,
strongly.
I feel
saying
like
that.
he's just been continuing. I feel like I don't know what year he graduated college. It feels like it's been a little while now. But he just has continued to get better and better and better, which is something like, I know I made an article or just kind of blog post about how guys don't get better post collegiately in the past. And it seems like that has taken a different turn. And like someone like Chance is a great example he's way better than he was. How long has he graduated? Like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
18, I think, 18 or 19.
Look at
4 years ago?
Chance, Hendo, Nate Jackson. Like all three of those guys,
Yeah.
handful of years out of their collegiate career have just continued to get better, and now we're in Final X.
They kept training, kept competing, and then for Chance, I mean, you can say it's the reps, but more than anything, his sobriety is the thing he's crediting the most. And he's been so open and candid about it, even with his post-match interview 2 days ago, talking about, and Kyle even asked him, why are you so open about this? He's like, because I faked it for so many years. He said even at Lockhaven, it wasn't real. I wasn't clean. I wasn't doing it right. That was phony. And for him to, pull himself up out of that situation and, that's a lifelong battle he's going to be in, but it's exciting to see him like that. Like he said, like, this is the chance that that you should have been seeing all along, but I got in my own way. And now clean Chance, and he's locked in and has really solid training partners is he at the NYC RTC?
And well, there's just a video I think Reese put out of him and Nate Jackson kind of sparring, which it points out that rubber knee and hip flexibility you're talking about. He's doing a lot of it in the video, and it said they're training partners. So I don't know if he's doing like part-time at a few different places, and then I think he's coaching wrestling also.
Yes.
He's got Stellar
with the
trained
youth
in
club.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, he's got Stellar trained in Pennsylvania, but he had a couple different coaches in his corner this weekend.
Kendall?
Reese, yep. Kendall was. Reese was also in his corner. I think he spent some time with Colat at the Navy Marine
go way back,
RTC.
He talked about that too. He's like, Navy was awesome. They were great to me. He's like, I just needed different. And I think he just said, I just need different training partners there. Which he said he rolls with Kenchadze regularly and Shimizu, so he's got no shortage of elite training partners now. So yeah, it makes a huge difference. And his 2 out of 3 with Shinzo was absolutely thrilling. I mean, the way that second match ended with Shinzo just selling out for like, this was a double overs throw that he got and just ends up coming out on top. At that moment, I was like, that's probably going to do it. That's just a lot. When you have that second match and you're about to be in Final X and then you get thrown and you got to beat this dude again. But freaking, he got tough and, ends up winning that third match. And I came away so impressed with Vincenzo as well. Just that the tournament he had beating Ringer for the second time, kind of showing that it wasn't what as we described it, which was the first one. We're like, yeah, it's not really replicable. That's sort of flukish. He got 1-4, but really blah blah blah. And then he beat him again.
Now, do we think Ringer?
That was kind of weird. Well, let's just talk about that for a second. The end sequence of Vincenzo and Deirdre, I couldn't believe. I don't know if it was Deirdre getting tired, but the way that he cracked him down there, and then Deirdre doesn't react to getting cracked down by trying to right at the end of the match to do something, try to sit the corner, grab a crotch, something like that. I don't know if we can pull that clip up.
I watched it a bunch of times, and it seemed like, I don't know if he was surprised.
Kind of cashes it in.
I don't know if maybe he kind of did just turn down, but Chinzo's right hand really pulls hard on the foot and kind of set him. I wonder if he just had so much torque on it that
There's
there was no like.
still other things you can do there. We let's pull it up so we can just kind of watch it quick and talk about it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it
I
was,
should have had the time on that. It's
okay.
it's what 6 minutes or 5 minutes and 50 some seconds
Yeah, very late in
into that match.
the
We're
conclusion.
making
of the
Tyler work
match.
hard today.
Yeah, it's gonna be steam coming out of his
Computer.
computer. The hips for Chenzo are so freaky.
Powerful.
I mean, how many times does Ringer just get in deep, so deep, and just could not?
Yes.
There was once or twice where I felt like he bailed a little early, maybe because of the threat, rather than like actually being
really?
forced up. Yeah.
Man,
Wait, what do you say? What do you
I
mean?
think-
Oh, you mean well, because he probably didn't want to end up in the overhook because that's where Chenzo works the best from.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of thought he just
Yeah.
got stood up.
Well, there was
honestly.
definitely a time or two like that, but there looked like a time or two where maybe eventually that would have happened, but that he bailed awfully quickly out of respect for Chenzo's hips and hooks.
Yeah.
We got this clip or no?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay. All right.
So it's right towards the end of this match.
Yeah,
It's
all
probably
the way
last
at the end.
20 seconds to go or so.
We're getting close. Well, we
Yeah.
press play from here.
Yeah. So Ringer's
This
up
is what you thought
2-1.
I thought it was over for
15 to
Vincenzo.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was done. I didn't think he'd be able to find it. And he's just a lot of level changes.
From here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just like I don't like he just turns down there. I don't play it again. I wish we could play it in slow motion, but you guys don't have a slow motion option yet. Boom. Yeah, I wish we could see the flip side of it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think Tyler has that, honestly.
The flip side of it?
Tyler, our shooter, not this Tyler.
Okay. Yeah. I was really surprised he was able to finish that kind of so easy, and then yeah, Derringer just kind of went down, and I mean, even as he was getting tipped, he could have maybe tried to pull his. And I listen. I know this high level wrestling. He could have pulled his foot underneath him or tried to win splits or something to that effect.
Yeah, we posted the clip in HD on Instagram. Let me see if I can find it really quickly
Okay.
and send it to him because I do think it's worth.
From the other side. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's certainly a better angle than that one. I don't know I don't know what side you'll. Yeah, it is the other side.
All right. Perfect. Let's see if we can see this.
So I'd say prior to the U.S. Open, the outlook on Vincenzo was that he had separated himself a little bit from the field at 79. Do we see this as maybe a slight regression from Ringer or the field catching up to him?
I think it's regression.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
The outlook on Ringer going into the U.S. Open
Yeah.
was that it's like a Dake tier, a Ringer tier,
Yeah.
below,
Sure.
pretty much. Now
Oh yeah.
he's not
regression
even
for sure.
making finals. So do you see that as regression or the field catching up? As Vincenzo and Marcel are getting that much better?
Yeah, but we lost to Staraki too. Yeah, I think regression from Deeringer because there was a while he was wrestling at a really high level. Yeah, but okay, so wait, I wish we could pause it. Like as that pulling happens, Vincenzo only has one arm on it, so the fact that he's pulling him in from there, that is just a really tough position to pull someone in from. And especially an Alex Deeringer type of person. I just like kind of shocked it happened almost.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely weird. We're not gonna finish all the weights.
You're saying he's got the foot. How
See?
did? Yeah, I guess
See, look.
Deeringer doesn't commit to that. I see what you're saying because Deeringer didn't commit to that. Well, now he's not on the foot; he's on the ankle. But yeah,
But
even right here, it's like usually Deeringer. So okay, hold on, I'll try. So Deeringer, right? He's got the leg.
And got
Should
so
usually be able to
excited
hip
to
up.
do this.
But if not, he could slide this back leg for like a splits, right? So he could go splits with that left leg.
Well,
and
can
then,
he?
Right.
Does he have that sort of?
Absolutely,
hip flexibility?
Yeah, he can. Well, I don't know if he has the ability to do that move, but even if you can't go splits, you can sometimes go like a hurdlers where you're in a hurdlers stretch. I mean, like a Keegan or a Marsteller, they're going splits there for sure as you get tipped over from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was an element of surprise or something in his.
I think fatigue too, because
fatigue for sure.
It makes a little more sense that he's down kind of like on the lower ankle sock. I didn't think he had the shoe. You said shoe, and I didn't think he had that. He is closer than I thought he was because you can't see the hand from the other angle. But yeah,
Right.
that was still surprising.
Yeah, 100%. And then, as we know, Chance beats Chenzo in the third match, close one, very competitive, and I'm excited for Chance versus Jordan, 2 out of 3. Happy for Chance to be in this position and hope he can stay on the path, and he's got a lot more to give to wrestling, clearly.
Yes.
Should we get to some questions before? Because we're not going to finish.
Oh, we're just gonna quit right now.
We're not
Let's
quitting.
let's finish these weights or try to get as close as we can and do like mega question show tomorrow.
Yeah, and then because
Mega
I can't be on the show tomorrow. My son's graduating from elementary school, and apparently that's
What?
We'll figure it out. So 86. I don't know how much there is to say. I mean, Zahid is. We thought he would be the class of this weight class, leading into the matchup with David Taylor. Him versus Mark Hall is just not a good matchup historically for Mark, and that didn't change.
Well, I mean, Mark,
Yes.
they were pretty evenly split in college.
Well,
Not really.
so I don't-
No,
I mean,
he won
It was
way
like
more.
2-2 or like 3-2.
I thought it was like 4-2.
I don't think they wrestled 6 times
So
in college.
here, let me see if I don't think it was
What's
that
the
many
score?
times. So we had the headgear pool was their only meeting, and then
Of which Mark won.
Mark won the headgear one, and then he also won the Rec Hall one. Those were the only two.
They only wrestled 4 times.
And so Zahid,
Okay.
then Zahid
Maybe I
beat
thought it was
him
more.
He's
Maybe I'm
2-0
wrong
and
here.
now 3-0 in freestyle though.
more than 3, because he beat him at the World Team Trials in 2019. He beat him overseas in 2021.
At Pelicon, that's 2,
2.
and then here.
Did they not do 2
Twice
3?
here.
No, I don't think so. Because that was in the final to
Oh,
make
can we
it.
talk? I got an issue with this. The moves that he's doing.
What? Oh,
And I like Zahid, but listen, at a high level, the one he literally choked out what's his face. The only way that move works at a high level is if you literally render your opponent either unconscious or nearly unconscious. Why are we allowing people to do this? Choking people out is not. I mean, if we want to make choking people out illegal hold in wrestling, we can do that. And I am a huge fan of applying pressure to the neck in order to make something happen. But you literally render people unconscious by going the way he's going.
You talk about choking people out more than anyone.
I love
Figured
it.
you'd
I
love
love
this.
it, but not all the way. Like you want to apply pressure to make them feel comfortable to make the move work. But like that move, you can literally make them go all the way unconscious, and that is the whole purpose. Because if they don't go unconscious or near unconscious, they're not going over unless they suck. And at this level, no one sucks.
Yeah, it was 2 matches. It was 6 out
2
of 10.
matches here. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
So we're
he's-
gonna talk about this whole going that direction doesn't work unless you either choke them all the way out or most of the way out. They should really like watch that more and understand what's happening because obviously it is a jiu-jitsu hold also. The way they're applying it in freestyle obviously wouldn't work in jiu-jitsu because the guy would just roll over, so you need it much tighter, and that's why they like lots of times go to this type of hold. But yeah, so the referees should really just realize what's happening there and say, oh, he's trying to choke him unconscious. Oh, he's about to go unconscious. Oh, maybe I should stop that.
Yeah, because he choked out Morgan in the first period there, and it was funny. So let's sit in Matt's side, you hear everything, and so he chokes that dude out, and Mark Berry just turns around, looks right at me, he goes, "That's David Taylor in 2 weeks," and he said it to someone else. That's David Taylor in 2 weeks. Like we're beating this guy.
Choking people is unconscious. And
well, I think it was more
weird
referring
just be yelling out. That's weird. Wrestling coaches are weird sometimes. That's weird.
They do say strange things, but I think he was speaking more of the fact that they think they're going to beat David Taylor in 2 weeks.
That's fine. He could beat David Taylor. I mean, I don't think he's going
Can
to.
he?
I think it's going to get a lot more competitive. He's getting better for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to get more competitive. They get closer. I don't think he's going to beat him.
Do you think he gets a match?
No, but I think both matches are really like Zahid's scoring takedowns and it's competitive and it's close. Yes, I think in both matches.
The question is the pace of David versus Zahid. And Zahid it's weird because we see Zahid gas guys out sometimes, but also he can get tired as well.
Yeah, the Burroughs match.
Yes, of course. So if he's able to go hard for 6 minutes against David, that will serve him well, but it's just David has so many ways to score. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. That's the headliner match of Final X New York. Going to be a great event. Looking forward to that. 92. We saw Nate Jackson. There's not much to say. This was Nate Jackson and everybody else. He was a big favorite.
This is not a good weight class.
No.
Nate Jackson's good. The rest of them, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, Trumbull, good for him to make the finals, but,
Downey was pinned.
Downey was pinned, without
Yeah.
question.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was super pinned. But when I watched it live, I was like, oh, man, they just want to get Downey the heck out of here. Then I watched the replay, I was like, oh, he was crazy
He's
pinned.
definitely pinned.
Definitely pinned. Because I was calling one match, and I just had a side eye on that one, because obviously. And, yeah, pretty pinned dude. And, so, yeah, that's nothing really to say. I mean, other than Nate Jackson versus Jaden Cox, we can get into it later. But, they've wrestled.
It's the same at 74, which we kind of skipped, that it was
Oh, yeah.
Nolf domination.
Dolphin.
I think
domination.
Nolf actually looks better than we've seen in freestyle.
Yes, he's getting better.
I know it's
Another
not
guy.
the field of, incredible dominators, but I think he is improving. Now, then again, the final boss is Kyle Dake, and that's a completely different situation.
Final boss.
97, Colin Moore dominates Mike Mock, makes it to a rematch against Kyle Snyder, his former teammate, and not a lot to say there because Colin Moore's just such a decided underdog in that match, as good as he is. And heavyweight went about as expected.
I thought Cass might give Gwiz at least a match or something a little bit better, but
Really? Hasn't he always? I mean, don't you remember they did that? What was that match they did a few years ago? And Cass beat him just like this.
No.
Yes, this happened. It was all Hawkeyes had someone. Yeah, remember they had like a Hawkeye versus someone match. It was during Corona period.
Yeah, I know, but he killed him.
Gwiz killed Cassiope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what you
Yeah,
said.
that's what I said. I said just
no.
like this because he killed him now, right?
Right, you just said the opposite names.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect. I mean, of the matches that were happening, it was one I was just most interested in, but I didn't think.
I thought maybe Cassiope could get a takedown or
He got in on a nice high crotch, but yeah, Gwiz too much. Gwiz gonna make this team. You got to figure at 125. So we got a lot more stuff to get to, but we can get to it. Well, shoot, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. Oh, I know a question. I know a question.
What?
This is good. This is a big triumphant moment for me, and I think
Triumphant.
Bracky. Can we put the Amin versus Ringer thing to bed finally, once and for all?
Yes, finally. But man, when that was
what year was it?
said-
2019.
There may have
Yeah,
been
it
a
was
time where it would have
2018.
been
This
a
was
thing,
different.
but yeah.
No, I mean there was times when it wasn't a thing because Dieringer was that much better. I mean, Dieringer almost beat Kyle Dake. That was remember the match in Vegas, which was 2019 or 2018?
That was in 18.
And 2019 was Round Rock.
Yeah, I mean, so 19 was not quite as close as the 2018 match, but yeah, I mean, there right now is not the time, but there were times when Alex Dieringer was for sure a top 5 guy in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
No question. Now they're training partners. But yeah, so I thought that was an interesting match, but they still have not wrestled.
I'd still watch him wrestle.
Can you put a plug in for Anthony Robles going for 24-hour pull-up record? What he's raising money for? Well, I don't know the answer to the second question, but I'm happy to plug it.
He's doing like 7,000 pull-ups or something. It's absurd.
That is just insane. I know he only has one leg, and that I get that, but it's still just absolutely
dynamics.
it's absolutely absurd.
Is he
Yeah,
gonna,
because
like,
I think about
is he
like,
gonna wear like
Christian,
gloves or
how
something?
many pull-ups could you do? I think in a 24-hour period, I think I can. I don't know if I can get to 1,000. I don't know if I can get to 1,000 in 24
I mean,
hours.
because yeah, that's the thing. At some point, I'll be so fatigued, I won't be able to do.
Your muscles will just like be like, no.
I know I did Murph, and Murph is 100, and you do them consecutively, right? And so I think I know I did the Murph in like 39 minutes, so that means like kind of like there's 5 seconds of
Christian
run,
doesn't do them
and then there's
consecutively.
so
Yeah,
I did kind of like
I break 'em up.
8 minute section. I did 100, but yes, by the end of the 100, I'm doing like 2 at a time. But my arms are exhausted.
Yeah, could you do 50 an hour for 24 hours?
I think I don't. I mean, obviously, I never tried. 15 hour for so that would be what 1,200 pull-ups.
You have to go 24 hours though. That's with like no sleep.
Because you're not sleeping. Yeah, not sleeping.
Like-
Or you just wake up in the middle of the night, just crank out 50 pull-ups, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think we could get
think I can do
1,000.
50
I have
an
no
hour.
interest in finding out if it's true if I could. But I think we could get to 1,000 in 24 hours.
Yeah, I know. I always whenever I was getting like fight camps, whenever I would lose body weight, and even if it was just like 10 to 12 pounds, my pull-ups would go up by a lot. Like say I started camp at like 195 ish somewhere, and then by the end I'm like in the mid to low 180s. Like my pull-ups got so much better.
So he's going for, this is audacious,
7,000. It's like 7,000 something.
7,715 pull-ups in 24 hours.
He's got to be like wearing gloves, right? Like your hands would just rip to shreds.
I would imagine he's wearing gloves in this picture right here, and he probably has some pretty fantastic calluses. But man, that said, that's just ridiculous.
When's he doing this?
I don't know.
It's coming out. It's this week sometime. I just read about it, so it's definitely this week sometime.
So he like fasts before he does it.
Wait, why?
I know,
Like,
or
make
I
you
know,
lighter still.
or not fast, but like sort of cuts. I know he did it for his 60-second one, but I'm wondering, can you do
Probably
that?
because it makes you lighter, right?
Of course, but
You need the energy.
for 24 hours, he's going to have to go into it somewhat fueled. You're not going to be able to do 7,000.
I assume he'll eat throughout it as well.
Yeah. Man, that just does not sound like a fun day to me. 7,000 pull-ups. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's very good. Good luck to Anthony. Please get it. If you're raising money for something, I will plug it when I find out what it is. And that's it. Let's call it a show. I'm full Ben Askren right now. I have to pee.
I gotta pee so bad
so bad. So bad. I don't know what happened, or I changed up my. Normally,
So
I'm like
300 pull-ups per hour.
300 pull-ups per hour.
Over.
321 per hour. No way. Only you, Anthony. You got this, dude.
So ridiculous.
Best of luck. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Think Shane's going to be on. Think I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm not going to be a deadbeat father. We'll be there. So
I'm out of here. I gotta pee.
goodbye.
I'm done. I'm gonna beat you to the bathroom. Christian, you got a 100-meter dash to the bathroom. I have like
I gotta go.
7 feet.
I'm the only tough one here.